Nature is a true box of surprises, and natural phenomena are here to prove that even without any human intervention, nature knows how to put on its own show. Despite numerous studies, some natural phenomena still manage to intrigue even the most experienced scientists. And I'm not talking about common events like storms or tsunamis, but rather rare and extremely exotic phenomena. I'm Matthew, and you're very welcome to Mega Lists. In today's video, we've compiled a list of the strangest natural phenomena in the world. So leave your mega like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Ready for the video? Avalanche. For mountaineers, nothing is more terrifying than the thunderous sound of an avalanche. A mass of snow, ice, and debris accumulates as it descends down the mountain. Avalanches can be triggered by various factors, such as earthquakes, erosion, excess water in the soil, or even the slope of the terrain. As it gathers mass, the avalanche increases in speed and can reach an impressive 200 kilometers per hour. Cars, houses, and everything in the path of this icy mass will be buried. Sandstorm. At the end of 2021, some cities in the interior of Brazil were hit by an unprecedented sandstorm. These storms are generated by heavy rains that collide with dry ground, lifting particles that accumulate and are carried by the wind, reaching several kilometers in height. A cyclist and his friend were caught off guard by the storm while on a ride. Within seconds, the dust cloud covered them, leaving them stunned by the phenomenon. Eternal Flame. This is the Eternal Flame Falls, a name that does justice to what happens at this location. It's literally fire, flames, and blazes burning eternally inside a waterfall. Located in Chestnut Ridge Park, New York, these flames result from natural gas leaks that will only extinguish when the gas supply runs out, regardless of the moisture in the area. Black sand. One of the most striking features of a beach is its sand color. The clearer and more crystalline, the more beautiful it is considered. However, in Iceland, some beaches attract tourists from all over the world for their incredibly rare black sand. The sand on any beach forms through the erosion of surrounding rocks. In these Icelandic beaches, since the rocks are volcanic in origin and the nearby caves are made of basalt, the beaches have taken on this dark, unique appearance. But this phenomenon isn't exclusive to Iceland. At Waihanapanapa Beach in Hawaii, the sand is also dark, and the explanation is the same. Tree climbing goats. One of the world's largest deserts is located in Morocco, and in the midst of this inhospitable landscape, argan trees grow, producing a fruit whose oil is used for medicinal, culinary, and cosmetic purposes. However, it's not just humans who appreciate argan trees. Since they are resistant to arid environments, goats are commonly raised in Morocco and have developed a rather peculiar way of getting food. Believe it or not, these goats have learned to climb trees. They climb in search of food but often stay there for hours, taking advantage of the scarce shade in the desert. Reverse waterfall. It's impossible for a waterfall to flow in the opposite direction, right? Well, yes and no. Located in Nanagat, India, this waterfall is a true optical illusion. It looks like the water is flowing upward instead of falling down. In reality, there is a mist generated by the waterfall that is blown backward by strong winds, creating this incredible effect that tricks our visual perception. Ice disk. This peculiar and perfectly round structure looks like it was cut by a machine, but it's actually a natural phenomenon. This ice disk was found in Lake Michigan, USA. The pressure and volume of water created a whirlpool over a thin layer of ice, forcing it to spin constantly. Over time, this movement shaped the ice into a perfectly circular form. Flash flood. Heavy rainfall in the upper parts of a river can lead to the formation of this phenomenon. Within seconds, the water volume increases and rushes toward the nearest waterfall. The water descends suddenly, sweeping away everything in its path. If you're visiting a waterfall, always check the weather forecast and leave the water as soon as it starts to rain.
Firefall. Located in Yosemite Valley, USA, this waterfall intrigues people from around the world. Instead of water, it looks like fire is cascading down. But how is this possible? Where does this fire come from? Well, in reality, the firefall is a regular waterfall like any other. What happens is that the sunlight reflects off the water at a specific angle, creating the illusion of flowing fire. This spectacle occurs only once a year, in February, snowfall. A sudden drop in temperature combined with high altitudes or northern latitudes can result in an amazing phenomenon, at least for those who don't live in snowy regions. Snowstorms, also called blizzards, happen mainly in mountainous areas. Snow falls in a dry, powdery form, making it harder to melt and easier to accumulate quickly. Waking up to find your house or car completely covered in snow may not be pleasant, but let's admit it, blizzards are breathtaking to watch. Solar halo. One of the most beautiful and fascinating celestial phenomena to witness is the solar halo, a bright ring of light that forms around the sun. This phenomenon occurs in countries with harsh winters, such as Sweden, Canada, and the United States. It is extremely rare and happens when sunlight passes through ice particles in clouds, bending and creating this halo effect. The geometric shape of the halo is due to the hexagonal structure of the ice crystals, spider webs. Some spider species have taken web building to another level. These spiders construct massive webs that can cover entire trees or entire vegetation patches. This is a survival strategy, as these webs are not made by just one spider, but by hundreds or even thousands of them. With more spiders working together, the webs become larger, more effective for catching prey, and provide greater protection.
Tide. Going to the beach on weekends is one of the favorite pastimes for those living on the coast. However, some people forget certain basic rules for a day at the beach. One of the most important is, never park your car on the sand. The tide can rise, forcing you to stay on the beach much longer than you'd like. Although it seems obvious, some people still ignore this rule, like these 3 cars, which ended up being swallowed by the water. This truck had to be removed with a crane after being trapped for 48 hours on the beach.
Lava flow volcanoes are true and genuine forces of nature. With approximately 1,500 of these structures on planet Earth, when one of them becomes active, the consequences tend to be enormous. Volcanoes can generate 3 types of eruptions: effusive, where only lava is expelled; explosive, in which no lava is emitted, only rock fragments called pyroclasts; and mixed, where the volcano emits both lava and pyroclasts. Lava is nothing more than massive amounts of rock in total fusion, meaning it is melted by heat. Eruptions occur when this lava, which is beneath the Earth's surface, rises to the surface. The amount of lava expelled by a volcano can be so great that it forms true rivers of molten rock, with temperatures that can exceed 1,000 degrees Celsius. These lava flows melt almost everything in their path, and when they cool, they can form real rock barriers. Despite their destructive potential and how terrifying they may seem, volcanic eruptions are incredible phenomena, and the beauty of these lava flows cannot be denied. Whirlwind. Whirlwinds can only be seen on very hot days. This happens because the heat concentrated in a specific area of the ground can create a difference in atmospheric pressure between that particular area and the adjacent ones. This pressure difference causes hot air from nearby areas to converge towards the hotter region, generating a column of rising air that moves in a circular motion, lifting dust and forming the whirlwind. Although whirlwinds are mostly harmless, they can reach considerable sizes, like this one, or even occur in multiple instances at the same time in the same location. And there are also the extremely rare and terrifying fire whirlwinds. Torrent considered a blessing from the sky, especially in places where they only occur during a specific time of the year. Rains bring hope, turning plants greener, making them bear fruit, and consequently attracting more animals, as well as greatly aiding human activities like agriculture. However, with rain comes torrents. Torrents are the excess water that the soil cannot absorb, which flows freely, dragging everything in its path. Some torrents can reach enormous proportions, resembling temporary rivers. Although it is a natural phenomenon, human activity has contributed and continues to contribute significantly to the increase and frequency of torrents. Today, much of our soil is compacted with cement and asphalt in cities, preventing most rainwater from infiltrating the ground, creating torrents. Additionally, deforestation also contributes to this phenomenon, as trees, especially through their roots, not only make the soil more permeable, but also help contain the force of torrents. Without trees, the soil becomes more compact, and there are no natural barriers to prevent water from flowing freely. Ground explosion. The following images do not depict natural phenomena, but rather a strategy used in engineering to create space during pipeline installations. This technique employs dynamite charges strategically placed underground. These explosives are detonated in sequence to open only the trench necessary for the planned pipeline installation, avoiding additional damage to surrounding areas. This technique can be disastrous if the planning calculations are not carried out with extreme precision. However, when everything is executed correctly, trenches up to hundreds of meters long can be opened. Lava in the ocean. What is the most common method for extinguishing a fire or cooling down a hot object? With water, right? That is exactly what happens when these lava flows reach the ocean. The contact between the hot lava and the cold seawater generates a thermal shock that solidifies the lava almost instantly while producing a large cloud of water vapor. Volcanic lightning. A volcano does not only emit lava. As if the molten rock flows at extremely high temperatures and pyroclastic explosions that can be launched kilometers away were not enough, some volcanic eruptions generate lightning. Yes, lightning. Volcanic lightning generally occurs in mixed-type eruptions. During these eruptions, many particles are ejected into the atmosphere, forming clouds of volcanic ash. These particles carry static electricity, and when negatively charged particles separate from positively charged ones in such a way that they generate a charge greater than the air resistance, electricity flows between them, resulting in lightning. Sandstorm in the desert. When we think of storms, the first image that comes to mind is of torrential rain with loud thunder and impressive lightning illuminating the night. However, nature sometimes surprises us with storms without a single drop of water. Sandstorms. These storms naturally occur in desert regions, where there is an abundance of sand. The sand is in constant movement as it can be easily transported by the wind. If a very strong wind occurs, a massive amount of sand particles can be lifted simultaneously, forming clouds that can cover vast areas. These are known as sandstorms. Can you imagine getting caught in the middle of one? It doesn't sound like a pleasant situation. Although most of these storms pose little risk, some can reach such massive proportions that they can bury entire structures. Darva's crater. In religious beliefs, hell is always depicted as a place where fire burns eternally. For this reason, the Darva's crater has earned the unsettling nickname of the Gate to Hell. Located in Karakum, Turkmenistan, the Darva's crater is approximately 30 meters deep and 70 meters in diameter, and it has been burning for over 40 years. Yes, you heard that correctly. This crater has been on fire for more than 4 decades. However, this phenomenon is not natural. The area was discovered in the 1970s, when Soviet geologists were drilling in the region in search of oil. However, they accidentally drilled into a massive gas pocket, causing the platform to collapse and opening the crater that exists today. Concerned about the emission of toxic gases, the geologists decided to set the gas pocket on fire,
hoping it would burn off quickly instead of attempting to seal the crater. Bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is a phenomenon that its very name explains. Bio comes from Latin and means life, and lumen means light. Therefore, bioluminescence is the ability of some living beings to produce their own light. This phenomenon is so widespread in nature that it could be the subject of an entire video, covering everything from simple organisms like algae to vertebrates, such as some deep-sea fish. You have probably witnessed a bioluminescent phenomenon without realizing it. Just remember the glow of fireflies. The light they emit is a bioluminescent phenomenon. Underwater waterfall. When we think of a waterfall, no one imagines that a structure that essentially depends on gravity could exist underwater. However, this phenomenon in Mauritius appears to defy the laws of physics. Despite its impressive appearance, the underwater waterfall is actually an optical illusion caused by the movement of sand and sediments towards the ocean. Our first video is coming to an end, friends. I hope you enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel. See you soon.